Today, we have some exciting news to share with you all. Bloomberg conducted a fascinating survey targeting 5,000 Model 3 owners, and the results were truly eye-opening. You won't believe the main reason why some owners would choose a different car over Tesla. Stay tuned as we delve into this intriguing report and uncover surprising insights. Let's dive right in. Tesla's proactive offer. Tesla proactively reminds you as a car owner to consider purchasing their next new car before the end of Season 3. This way, you can transfer the current full self-driving or FSD capability to the new vehicle. Tesla emphasizes that this offer is a one-time amnesty operation, meaning it won't be available again if you miss this opportunity. Tesla's seasonal event and ethical considerations. Tesla's primary motive for this event appears to be boosting sales during the third season. However, you might wonder if they are approaching this correctly. Reflecting on Elon Musk's previous statements, he has expressed the desire for Tesla to be a company that does the right thing. While there's no doubt that Tesla vehicles are impressive electric cars overall, you have reservations about the FSD software for fully automatic driving. Disappointment over delayed Level 4 and Level 5 capabilities. Considering that Tesla has been selling FSD for approximately 7 years since 2016, and there have been promises of reaching Level 4 or Level 5 self-driving capabilities, you find it disappointing that the progress could be faster. Even in North America, where the FSD beta is available, it is only at a Level 2 driving capability. Other regions like Taiwan need to catch up. If you invested in FSD upgrades, you might feel you can only access the enhanced autopilot features, not the fully autonomous driving capabilities promised. HW 4.0, unattainable for previous FSD buyers. Over the years, Tesla's car hardware has undergone continuous upgrades, now reaching HW 4.0. However, it's essential to note that if you've purchased FSD in the past, regardless of whether your car has HW 3.0 or an earlier version, it's not possible to upgrade to HW 4.0. This might concern you as you observe that the average vehicle ownership time in the US is about 8 years, with a significant portion, around 64%, having a holding period of 5 years or less. Tesla's struggle with fully automatic driving, promises and reality. Tesla's recent customers are likely part of a group with a strong interest in new technology and frequent car upgrades. However, the company faces a significant issue with fully automatic driving capabilities. Elon Musk's promises of Level 4 or Level 5 self-driving have yet to be realized, leaving Tesla's blueprint far from reality. The FSD system still requires a driver in the driver's seat, holding the steering wheel and paying attention to the road, which aligns differently from Musk's envisioned blueprint. Holding Tesla accountable for unfulfilled FSD promises to consumers. Tesla should be held accountable for not fulfilling their promises to consumers regarding the FSD software. Ideally, the FSD should follow people rather than specific cars, allowing car owners to freely transfer the capability to their next vehicle. Tesla should take responsibility for this matter, even if it means repurchasing FSD at the original price. As the company aspires to do the right thing, it should prioritize the interests of its FSD purchasers and facilitate their ability to transfer the feature without any restrictions. The current approach, offering the option only to those who change their car before September 30, seems unfair and inconsistent with the principle of doing the right thing. Transferring FSD capability to next vehicles. The author emphasizes that personal circumstances do not influence their viewpoint, as they have a Model Y with full self-driving and are ordering a Cybertruck having purchased FSD long ago. It is about the principle of fairness and responsibility upheld by a responsible company. Many individuals have invested more than 100,000 Taiwanese dollars in upgrading from EAP to full self-driving. Yet, after several years, the two have no substantial difference in functionality, which seems unreasonable. Existing Level 4 autonomy. The author recalls receiving an email from Tesla, and whenever they discuss full self-driving, they notice viewers expressing skepticism about achieving fully autonomous driving. However, they point out that real unnamed driving, particularly at Level 4 with regional limitations, already exists in some parts of the United States and China. There are unnamed taxis in operation, exemplified by a humorous picture of an unmanned Waymo stopped by the police. Hence, the notion that all vehicles must have full self-driving capabilities before achieving fully automatic driving is challenged, as cars can already operate without human intervention. Stability and accountability in self-driving systems. Level 4 autonomous driving relies on the car manufacturer's confidence in their self-driving system. While accidents may still occur with human drivers, the focus is on ensuring the independent system is stable enough to minimize the risk of accidents. If the fault lies with the autopilot system, there is minimal concern. However, if the self-driving system is unstable and causes an accident, the car manufacturer must take full responsibility for any resulting incidents. Challenges and struggles with full self-driving stability. Tesla's goal of Level 4 and Level 5 autonomy is challenging, and the company has struggled with full self-driving stability. It is crucial to be prepared for the responsibilities associated with autonomous driving. Tesla has been committed to updating their vehicles, setting them apart from other companies that stop updates after a few years. A Bloomberg survey reveals fascinating trends. A recent Bloomberg survey targeting 5,000 Model 3 owners found that most respondents are pleased with Tesla's cars and unlikely to return to gasoline. Around 75% plan to switch to electric vehicles within the next 2 years, and most are considering staying with Tesla. Over half of them are interested in the Cybertruck. If Tesla owners choose a non-Tesla brand, Rivian's R1S SUV and R1T electric truck are the top choices. Tesla's products and customer perceptions. Interestingly, among those who have sold their Tesla or switched to other brands, the primary reason for abandoning Tesla is dissatisfaction with Musk, accounting for 21.5%. Another significant factor is car quality or service, which represents 18.7%. Some car owners feel that Musk should be more cautious with his tweets, particularly those with political-related language. The survey indicates a drop in satisfaction with Musk's actions from 4.4 points in 2019 to only 2.97 points in 2023. Achievements, hurdles, and thought-provoking decisions. The survey reveals that most car owners have a positive impression of Tesla's products, leading to a high proportion choosing the company for their next car. The survey serves as a wake-up call for Tesla, but it suggests that Musk may not be overly concerned. Around 2.7% of people left the company due to Musk, which could have a significant financial impact. The survey also highlights Tesla's achievements and challenges in FSD and customer satisfaction. The decision made by Musk and their potential implications for the company is also thought-provoking. The audience is invited to share their thoughts on Tesla's direction and the choice between the Bluebird pattern and the mysterious X logo. And that completes our video for today. We hope you enjoyed learning the incredible updates of Tesla models. Which of them are you most excited about? Tell us in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content such as this.